also I want to share some of my technology background. Yeah, I've been working basically in React and in the front end, and also work as a full stack engineer working on Node.js or some Python at the server side. And before I was introduced to Lovable, actually I see that it has a collaboration with Superbase, but actually I never used Superbase before. It's the first time I use it. I've been using like Azure, Microsoft Azure, and Amazon AWS for some time. And in my previous career, TikTok, they have their own, cloud-based system. And I think that you can find here. I also have the Superbase set according to this project. So you have the GitHub and Superbase. Yeah, here you have the database and also the which we have some tables, and also you have some like lambda functions here, and the lambda function is used to reservate and send the email and cancellation email. And okay, so let's go back here. And I want to share is that when I try to manage this whole application, and the first is very I was very like it successfully managed the basic needs for me, like building the whole page, and try to make some adjustment when I need to change like the text, change like the content. When I try to manage the content, like which menu has which dishes. I mean, this is the real menu here in the restaurant. So I try to manage the content and try to make the whole reservation, the table for the form for the whole reservation, and it works pretty much great because they basically set the whole need for me. And because of I saw there is a limitation for 5 message for users. So I didn't really change like the background or for this set. I didn't really change the layout for this set because I think because I just don't want to waste the messages on the on some features which I can implement very quickly, like setting the background URL in the CSS. And also I add some about page, which is this is some text generated by the AI, and also the menu. The menu page is actually real, and also the reservation page. So it have about page, menu page, and the reservation page, and actually when I try to build this, it doesn't leave me a space or doesn't leave me a chance to select the technology or the tech stack which I'm familiar with. I mean, I'm aware of the React, I'm aware of like Node.js, but in the real engineering part, so here this is the code which generated by Lovable. And in the code, they're choosing a UI library called Redux UI. Actually, I never using this before. So I took this. So when I try to build something using a platform or a certain language or tools, I will assume that if you combine some tech stacks, for me, you combine them and you cover them in like you combine them and you try to manage the whole develop process under the hood. I try to treat this as something which will never or 95% they will just successfully build or run. But actually, in this part, it's actually not, because there are a lot of errors or a lot of maybe some bugs when I try to build this set. And sometimes I find difficult when I treat some technical details as something under the hood, or sometimes I have to pop up the hood and check what's wrong. So this is something. This is kind of like you have the balance here to say, okay, we have something really under the hood, or something which is above a line or above a leverage that make the users aware of. And I think this is the part which for example, I would really love that I can choose the tech stack which I am more familiar with, like using another UI library, because this is the library I'm not really familiar with. And if there's something happens, I have to pop up the hood, then I will have some difficulties reading those codes, and which is something I don't wish to happen in the real engineering experience, right? And when you try to build the set, it actually, I like I just said, it starts scratch from a front end set, a front end page, and the front end page obviously it begins with a front end repository started by a package.json, and I tried to run the project locally on my machine, and well, there is something error happens here. Let me just try to go back to those arrows. Okay. So from here, this is the beginning. When I make some screenshot, and here this is the beginning for the whole the whole set or whole application. This is the starter setup for the whole application I just showed you earlier. And it also seems here you can also start from scratch. You can set, okay, just build me some application which I can read, like some books every day, or maybe something else. And here is actually, I occurred once when I using Lovable. I don't know why, but it shows this page. It shows something, maybe something happens. I don't know why. And well, actually, I don't like it, because something happens. Actually, I've been programming. I've been programming using AI tools like Copilot or ChatGPT for a while, and I know that if something happens, you can just retry. On the like UI prompt, or the UI applications. It's not really necessary to make a whole like error page here. So if I have the error page here, I either go back and to refresh the page, or either just have nothing to do, or just try to contact the developers. So this never happens again, but this happens when I try to build a set. I don't know why, but actually I don't think we need a whole error page here, because it left users nothing to do in the error page. And you can just refresh the page here, and then you go back to the chat with the AI, and then you just try again, which it's really necessary. It's really not necessary for the page here. And also there are some arrows, like you could not start the sandbox machine, some little arrows when I try to manage the whole application. And there are also sometimes there are some small arrows. I don't know why, but it's something like the bump in the road, but it's okay, because it doesn't really it's not crucial to the whole like the engineering or the whole code implementation for the whole set. And, sometimes some error happens, but you refresh, it's gone. And sometimes here is that this is a problem. Here is that I remember I told the AI that I have three menus, which is like you have the we have three menus, which is here I have the spice menu, the slow cooking menu, and the crystal sear menu, and the AI changed the menu in the reservation page, but it left the introduction page unchanged. So I told you didn't change the page, and you have to change it again. And this is something that I wish not to happen. Like I give them like information or order. I hope that they can use this information and make the change on the whole context of the application, not only just part of it. Otherwise, you have to start stuck in one problem, for quite a while because everywhere it needs to be changed. You have to tell the AI to do it, which is I think this is not necessary. Yeah, and then you see I go back to here, and you can make the reservation here, which you can find on the page, also on the page here. Here I have like a real engineering problem here is that when I try to see the real code of this application, I clone the whole code from the GitHub and try to run it through npm. And when you try to run it through npm, you have to install all the dependencies, and there are some conflict in the dependencies. And actually, this is some when you try to start running the code, it's actually unable to start. And I actually have to try to solve the dependency errors here, which is something unexpected. I don't know why in the sandbox it can run or you can install successfully, but I have to, solve the conflict by myself. Actually, I think if in the sandbox you can show some like previous commands which tells you which part of the tells you which commands was run in the sandbox or was run the one through the preparation of the whole application in the sandbox. It can be shown in some places, and you can just follow those steps and follow those commands to run it locally, which happens in a lot of like pipeline system, like Jenkins or something else. Yeah. And I try to fix this, and I push it, and maybe some arrows here, maybe there are some still conflict here. And here is not, actually, this is not something, I would say, this is not something related to the branch problem or some branch like strategy. No, it's actually something I would say here is that I see that the branch policy in the development is actually missing, or I really didn't see it in the documentation. If I try to explain this with more details, is that the Lovable seem to pushing on the main branch from the beginning to the end, and actually in real world engineering, there are a lot of branches. And people usually don't push on the main branch, and because main branch, or let's say master branch, was normally used for like releases, and we use develop branch from the start, and then we try to develop the features on the develop branch, and then you merge it onto the main branch. So here is that I see no branch strategy here when I try to chat with the AI and programming through the AI. And also, well, correct me if I'm wrong, also when I try to like preview the page and publish the page here, we don't have a lot of environments for the developers to make the difference. Like when you deploy it, it's actually deployed into a production. You don't have pre-production. You don't have a developer preview link or a URL and you just only have this in your sandbox. But here in the sandbox, actually you cannot share with somebody else, which means this is more like for a solo developer. But for a team, I think this is kind of something that should be fixed, or should be it can be better when you facing like team developing. Yeah. And also, let's go back to here, the branch strategy here and the environment strategy here, which I mentioned. And okay, so here I can say is that I make some prompt. I give the AI some information, and it build the front end page successfully for me. Like if I'm like handling some needs for like landing pages, I think that Lovable will do this super perfectly for me, because when you're facing some needs to build a landing page, it's more like a static page, and it's simple. You can you can just give the information to the AI, and it can give you a lot of feedbacks, or give you a lot of like codes. And also you give them their resources. I believe they can also like building the set according to our resources. But here I think it's gonna be a balance that sometimes you give the resources, you tell the AI what to do. It's not faster than you build the set one, or build some features by your own hand, like changing the color, changing the margin, the padding. And it's really not easy to tell like how much margin, how much padding to the AI, because actually you see this by your eyes, and if you don't like inspect the page using Chrome, you don't know how to adjust them. So I think it's just pretty hard for you to tell the AI how to adjust, or how to make some feature changes with some given UIs, right? Or maybe some features can be added, like you give them the Figma page, or give them some images, and you can build the set according to the image. I actually tried this once, but it fails. This is something I try to do it here. I remember. Just 1 second, please. Maybe history. No. Okay. I remember it's maybe I just have the. Okay, here. So actually, here I give them. I give the AI a resource, but actually, the AI doesn't really understand what I'm about to do. I tell them these are my menus. You change the set on the website, and also in the afterwards I try to tell them change the whole background, but actually it didn't really happen. Okay, moving on to the next part of the experience is that so here when you touch the back side, the backend side, this is where something struggles happens. So first, I checked. So there is no way for me to attach my own like Azure or my own AWS. The only the only thing I can mm, finish or try to build a set with the backend service is through with Superbase, but actually I never used it before, so I try to start using it. So here you can see the application is not connected, so I try to like open it and register it, and then build like the first like application on Superbase, and then connect them together. And here is actually something you always see in your like AI engineering, which some error happens, you try to fix it. Some error happens, you try to fix it. I will go back to this point later, because this is something really makes me struggle. And I build like the server side foundation on the Superbase, and then I try to tell the Lovable to like giving me some backend codes according to my needs. And here's what's happening. You can see and go back to here is that you can see there are some errors. You fix it and you fix it several times. Actually, when I'm using ChatGPT to make some programming, or you use Copilot, GitHub Copilot, to do some engineering, this thing happens before. Like sometimes the AI give you a solution, but the solution is not perfect. It's a solution with bugs. You provide more context, and they will like make them better. They will give you a better solution afterwards. It's like when you give them more context, when you chat with them through multiple conversations, they will understand you more and give you the more precise feedbacks or precise solutions. And I know this happens. So first I took this as, oh, it's just, like the chat GPT when I coding with the chat GPT. So I try to fix this several times. And here is that there is a problem here that happens, which is cost me some time to solve. Is that I mentioned that there is a version conflict in the package.json file, and in the package.json file, actually, what's really happening is that there are two packages. One is have higher or a latest package, and the other one is actually a more older package. And the newer package actually depends on the another package, but it's on the different version. So there are several solutions. You can like install it by force. You can like upgrade one package to the newest package to the latest package. I did it once. I tried to like update the package by hands. Like here, I try to solve the bug by myself. But when you try to solve the bug by yourself, actually the code cracks. The code cracks here on the date picker or the day picker, React day picker here. And actually, when I go through the AI generated code, I found it's kind of hard for me to solve the problem like in half an hour or 1 hour. So I just okay, go back here. Eventually I tried another solution which I didn't upgrade the code the package onto the latest version. So I upgraded them. I upgrade the code onto a version that can make two package play together very well. So this is the solution, and this is the first part which I've been faced to like pop up the hood and see what's happening here. And this cost me some time, some hours, because I try to fix this by prompt, by giving them the information, but actually the AI can't solve it. Yeah. And here I also want to mention that this is something I want to mention actually from the beginning, is that I was about to do like two projects. The first, you build a new application from scratch. Like here we have the reservation system, and also I want to try if I have an existing system, can I like migrate the existing system into Lovable, and you can build or refactor or add new features through Lovable onto an existing system. But actually here you can't. So it actually saved me some time for the whole experience, because on the doc it directly said you can't do this. So, but I think this is super important, because not every program or not every like application is doing from scratch. There are a lot of existing applications. It's way more than new applications. So key features here, right?